Today, the People Preventing Poaching, or the PPP, has a special message for you.
Welcome to the People Preventing Poaching Organization. We're a nonprofit organization that deals with and aims to reduce the amount of animals that are poached every year. Our long term goal is to eventually eliminate any type of poaching of animals across the world.
Poaching entails the illegal hunting or capturing of wild animals. It has been a serious worldwide issue since the 16th century, and the intensity of the issue has only grown larger and larger. It is often done because animals that poachers kill time and time again have something valuable that they want. It has a negative effect on many different animal species and affects animals with ivory more than any other. Ivory is deeply desired to be made into items such as weapons, jewelry, and even pianos, and poachers can get very wealthy from it. There is some controversy regarding this, as some believe that poaching has been used as a way to criminalize traditional subsistence techniques and prevent the indigenous people to hunt and perform rituals on their ancestral lands. As for elements, the largest animal with ivory, populations has decreased by 64% in the past decade worldwide, and as of right now, the average number of elephants poached per year is a whopping 35,000. At the turn of the 20th century, there were a few million African elephants and about 100,000 Asian elephants. Today, there are an estimated 450,000 to 700,000 African elephants and between 35,000 and 40,000 wild Asian elephants, making elephants an endangered species. These ivoried animals are vital to their ecosystems, and if poaching is not stopped as a whole, elephant populations are projected to become extinct within the next 2 decades.
There's many reasons that a young adult should care about poaching. First of all, poaching animals leads to future degradation in ecosystems around the world. The steady march to extinction that poached animals are facing can have a ripple effect on the ecosystems. If a predator is completely taken out, the organisms in the lower part of the food chain will be completely wiped out. Rise of poaching is a bad sign for the future, considering endangered species are needed in order to maintain an ecosystem for future generations to thrive in. Without these key species, the interactive ecosystems will not be able to provide in the future, and young adults will be left to face the consequences. Also, poaching brings a lot of dangers to safety. Money-hungry terrorist groups have turned to poaching and the trading of ivory to fund terrorist attacks, which is very significant as the threat of terrorism continues to rise over the years. There's $8 to $10 billion associated with poaching and trading of ivory with terrorist groups. Also, poaching severely affects future tourism. Africa's identity is defined by the wildlife and the safari. So when a part of the ecosystem or the complete ecosystem is depleted, it significantly reduces the amount of things that future tourists like yourselves will be able to see.
As of right now, there are a few laws and regulations against poaching, such as the Lacey Act of 1990. Under this act, it is unlawful to import or export or acquire any illegal or unlawfully sold animal item. It also stops local wildlife trafficking and poaching strictly within the United States. The CITES Treaty is also very important between 150 countries. Its aim is to ensure the control of the international movement of wild plants and animals in such a way to ensure that the stipulations of the international trade market do not contribute to the endangerment of the species. It doesn't decide how species are used within a country, but has a major influence on the movement of animals internationally. NEMBA restricts the poaching activities without a permit, allows the office to make lists, separation endangered species, vulnerable species, critically endangered species, and etc. NEMBA further authorizes the minister to prohibit any activity that may negatively impact the survival of listed, threatened, or protected species.
There's a few things that an ordinary citizen can do to combat this issue. The best thing an individual could do is cutting back on buying anything that contains ivory, such as jewelry. Also, most of the items resulting from poaching are traded in the black market, so not participating in that or reporting someone that does is also a huge way to fight this issue. The problem of poaching is often overshadowed by bigger and often more pressing issues that are occurring. So another way to combat poaching is to write to your local government officials, pressuring them to push this as an important topic in the government.
The final way that we can help these animals is to educate others on why we should. Any possible way you can help to educate is needed. Letting people know about the issues and letting them understand why it's important is a great way to combat the problem. It is our hope here at the PPP that the people of all nations everywhere will band together to stop the horrible practice that is poaching.
As always, thanks for listening to us. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, consult us at peoplepreventingpoaching.com. See you next time.